Hello everybody, it is Adam from Wheel Guns for Wheelmen, and today we're back with the Charter Arms Professional. It is back from Charter Arms over in Connecticut or wherever they are. I posted a couple videos back in February, and they're shorts, but you can go watch those, and you'll see that this had some timing issues. At least that's what it appeared to be to me. Kept binding up whenever I tried to pull the trigger, especially in double action. Now we have the gun back, and ooh, it works. It's pointing at the ground. Also works. Also, I already took this out and put 7 rounds through it when I was filming a different video about a week ago. Got this back about a week ago. And it does work. I'll be posting that video as well so that you can see it cycling and putting a whole cylinder down range. Now, I want to go over the customer service experience and just my overall impression of Charter Arms at this point, this being the 4th revolver I've owned that's a Charter Arms. Now, this happened back in early February, this binding issue, and I took a video, and I took another video, and I sent one of the videos, shortened so it fit on the email, to Charter Arms customer service, and they got back to me within I think 2 days, maybe only a day. It was a very quick turnaround. And they said, well, seems like it's a timing issue. Why don't you clean it real fast and verify that it's clean and that you've checked the hand and the ejector, not the ejector, the extractor, star, and cleaned under that, and just make sure it's clean, right? So that's not why it's binding up. Fair enough. I went back, I cleaned it. I'd already cleaned it. I cleaned my guns obsessively. And it wasn't that. It just kept having issues. Would not cycle. So I went to my local gun store and sent it out because they couldn't troubleshoot it. They tried. I will give Charter Arms that. They definitely tried, and I appreciate that. We had about 6 emails back and forth. At one point, they said, we showed the video you sent us of your cylinder binding up to our president. And they said that the president told them to tell me to just take a file to the top of the hand and see if that fixes the timing issue, because it looked like a timing issue. And so I took a file to the top of the hand, and they specifically said that, this will not void the warranty since it's coming from us to tell you to do this. So I appreciate that they were trying to make it so that it didn't have to be sent in for repair work. That's good customer service. I actually had a very similar experience with High Point, and the troubleshooting did actually work on that one, and so that was cool. Now, I sent it out on the 27th of February through my local gun store. The Charter Arms received it on the 4th of March, so about a week later. It took them until the 26th of March, so 22 days before they replaced the trigger, the hand, and the cylinder stop, and sent it back to me with a note saying it was a timing issue. We've replaced these 3 parts. That and it was covered under warranty, so didn't have to worry about paying for that. I am out $20 for shipping, which is not cool, but for $400, this gun had a very good trigger. Like, I've had other videos that I've put out on this gun, and every time I think I've mentioned how good the trigger is in double action. I have a Smith Wesson Performance Center, and I have a friend who has a different one, a 627 or something. Mine's a 460. Both of our Performance Centers have really, really good double action triggers. Also, the Colt Python, shot one of those. It has a good trigger. But outside of those 3 revolvers, this is probably the 4th best trigger-wise, and I really like it. And I was really worried when I saw that they had replaced the trigger in addition to the hand and the cylinder stop, that it wouldn't be as good. But it is indeed just as good as when I sent it out, and so I'm very pleased. However, this is my 4th Charter Arms revolver. None of them made it to the 200 round mark without failing in some way. Now, 2 of them, they weren't failures that resulted in the gun being basically not usable, right? Here, you know, I could get it to not bind up by jiggling the cylinder, but in a self-defense scenario, that's pretty much it. One had light primer strikes, but you can cycle to the next, you know, chamber and it would, you know, it'd work, right? So light primer strikes, not the end of the world. Cylinder binding up is much worse in my opinion. And then the third one had the cylinder release bind up, so you couldn't get the cylinder out. So weird problem. But at this point, we have 3 out of 4 fail. One of them I got rid of after only putting one box of 45 through it. It was a Pitbull. Cool design, has a little plunger so you don't need moon clips. But I put only 50 rounds through it because I didn't really want it. I took it out in trade and I didn't like it really. It was bulky and only had 5 shots, and I got rid of that after only 50 rounds. So who knows, it may have failed before the 200 round mark as well. But 3 out of 4 failing between 100 and 200 rounds is not good, and so I cannot recommend Charter Arms for personal protection, self-defense, right? But this trigger is pretty good, and the other Charter Arms I've all had good triggers, not as good, but better than Taurus. And so between a Taurus and a Charter Arms, which are the two cheap budget revolvers, I would say that Charter Arms clearly takes the cake for a number of things. One, I never had the sight fly off of any of mine like I have for a Taurus. They don't have a bunch of sharp edges and burrs like one of my Tauruses had. I've owned 3 Tauruses, still own 2. And so just all in all, the Charter Arms are nicer than Taurus revolver. The trigger is night and day better. Indeed, it's this one has a better trigger than any Ruger I've shot. I've shot probably 3 or 4 different Rugers that are double action and then 2 single action. But for double action comparison, this is better. The problem is it's not reliable. The Tauruses I've owned actually have been reliable. They kind of suck. They're not very user friendly, so to speak. They're not fun to shoot. But they do work. At least my 3 have. I know other people have bad luck with Taurus. So at this point, it looks like Charter Arms is really just something that, unless you're going to buy it for plinking or perhaps, or for fun, right? Or for competition, maybe. Maybe you buy a Charter Arms because you want to run a 6 or 7 shot revolver that's a small revolver in some sort of competition. I don't know what competition that would be necessarily. Like, normally you'd want a larger revolver for competition for most things. I guess maybe Steel Challenge or something. You could get by with something like this. But yeah, it's really just not ideal. But if you're looking for a nice gun for under $400, this is the way to go. But I just wouldn't trust it, for self-defense. So that's my customer service review and update, as well as my overall impressions on Charter Arms after owning 4 of them over the past 7 years. And hopefully that was informative and helped someone somewhere. Anyways, please like and subscribe if you want more content. Take care.